Hey everyone, welcome to JoJo's World.
Greetings, and what a day it is.
What a day. A Saturday.
A glorious day in anyone's vocabulary.
We can all agree. Saturday, best day of the week.
Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
What about Friday?
You gotta work on Friday if you're me.
That's true, but you know what Friday invites?
Friday night.
Exactly. And that's a good
And
night
that's the
to be
most
alive.
time before more church.
Sure.
Nick,
Yes.
I'm Liam S. Smith, one of your co-hosts.
And I'm Nick Valentine, the other one of the co-hosts.
JoJo's World, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast.
That's this.
Legend of Galactic Heroes, the JoJo's World Galactic Tour.
That's the JoJo's guarantee that you come here for.
We do.
Oh, yeah. You come here for that. But what about you, listener?
Nick,
Yes.
shut up. Just
Why?
for regular reasons.
Okay.
We got some low-key JoJo's news.
Ooh, how low key are we talking? Are we talking like mid-tier JoJo's? Are we talking like?
This is reported on AnimeNewsNetwork.com.
Okay, that is pretty mid.
Thus spoke Kishibe Rohan manga gets its first new story in 3 years.
Oh my god!
Entitled Bruschetta.
Wait, just bruschetta?
Yeah.
Oh, Araki can do no wrong. He can literally do no wrong.
And of course, the live-action series continues to be a thing.
As it must be.
But that's all I know at this stage about Bruschetta.
So, hypothesis.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be Kishibe Rohan, our friend and family, went to Italy and he tried to eat bruschetta,
Here we go. 51-page one-shot.
but it was cursed.
But the bruschetta was also cursed.
Or the guy serving the bruschetta, like, tries to kill Kishibe Rohan for some reason.
Or it could be one of those ones where it's
He's a rival manga artist.
entirely unrelated characters
Oh, and he's just watching from afar.
telling the story.
Yes.
Like with Gerchet.
Yeah. And he's like, do you know the one about the
Bruschetta of Doom.
What if it's someone's name? Like they're called bruschetta. What then? Nothing to do
Hey,
with
Bruschetta, you gotta get up and make the pasta this morning, huh?
So he does.
And it's a beautiful story about
Making pasta.
making do in a world where you don't have a lot, but what you do have is family.
You've got your brother Linguini, your sister Spaghetti.
Risotto Nero.
You've got...
You remember Risotto Nero?
Oh, I remember Risotto Nero. And how he didn't do anything, but did at the same time.
But he loomed.
Oh, he loomed hard.
And it's going to be a Thus Spake Kishibe Rohan adaptation of my seminal JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fanfiction, Risotto Nero's Perfect Sunday.
Of course. If that doesn't become a real story, it's a crime.
I think the official adaptation of that would have far fewer Mike Myers references in it.
Yeah, everyone from Japan would be like, why are you talking about the guy from Master of Disguise? You'd be like, that's not him.
It's not
That's
him.
not him.
I was literally about to do that. You got me. You rused me.
I knew it would happen. That's just what people do.
FinalWeapon.net reports/speculates that the upcoming JoJo Day will announce the next part of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure animated adaptation, Part 7, Steel Ball Run.
Will it? I'm asking
I
you
think
as...
there's real potential.
Okay, alright. Why do you think there's real potential?
Because why else are they doing this?
I don't know, they just like to do stuff in Japan. Like, why else would...
In addition, Bleach Brave Souls developer K-Lab and Final Fantasy Brave Exvius developer Gumi are working together on a brand new JoJo's Bizarre Adventure mobile game. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a gacha announcement event. Gumi made some wildly panned Final Fantasy gacha games.
Wait, so this is actually bad news? Is that what you're saying?
We don't know. We just don't know.
It's impossible to say, ladies and gentlemen.
So shocked when in our group chat the other day, our friends were like, it's not going to be good if they adapt it.
Look, it's never good. It's anime.
Well, of course.
Bam.
I mean, we're
Bam.
grading on a scale.
Yeah, we're grading on a scale of 0 to Trigun, and we're nearing the top end of the spectrum. Regardless of animation quality, you're like, that's not what we're here for. We're here for the wild ride, okay? We're here for the plot, we're here for the designs. The animation's just a little added benefit. You read manga. There's no animation in manga, and yet it has all of that and more. We've got, like, people talking now. If we've got that, we're in, right? Right, that's all we need. That's all we need for Part 7 to be successful, is people talking, a guy who I assume hits baseballs, and with like a bat.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about Steel Ball Run.
No, none of that in there.
Does he not hit baseballs?
There's no baseballs.
Okay. Does he
We already had the baseball boy in part 6.
No, we had Baseball Boy, but what about Base Joe Ball?
That's nothing.
Sorry, what about...
We also already had the baseball in part 3.
No, that was a video game.
So?
What about original...
The Jaggers.
The Jaggers. What about original baseball? What about when someone plays baseball physically?
Oh, like in Twilight.
Yeah, with their stand. Wait, like in Twilight? Oh, yeah, they play
Famous
baseball.
baseball scene.
Fuck me.
Except to, I want to say, like a Black Hole Sun or something.
Oh, God.
It couldn't have been Black Hole Sun.
Here's a question. What's her fucking name? Is it Bella?
Anna Kendrick. Oh, okay.
Is it Bella is her name?
Yeah.
The
Don't
girl.
pretend like you don't know.
I definitely... yep. So when she's playing baseball with the vampires, right? That's the thing that happens.
Yeah.
In that. How the fuck is she ever meant to win?
I think it's not a competitive game. It's just some backyard fun.
But like...
It's not like they're playing baseball to save the community center from the vampires or
No,
something.
but like how... Like someone still wins in baseball when you're playing for fun.
Yeah, but
right?
I think the baseball game is interrupted because evil vampires show up.
Oh, and then they take part in the baseball to
Yeah,
prove...
to save the community center.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, alright, never mind. I never should have questioned it at all. Oh.
Fandom Wire reports, this has to be an absolute perfect adaptation. There is no one more loyal than a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan waiting for part 7. That's the headline.
That's the headline?
Yep.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's just the sentiment.
This is definitely an AI-generated article.
Oh, damn it.
Summary. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a cultural phenomenon in every sense. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7 anime has fans all stoked up on X. Steel Ball Run is a commentary on power play and politics, which is brilliantly done.
I don't think this is AI generated. I just think
You just think it's stupid?
I just think it's written by someone who's very keen. Which, by the way, I'm here for. I'm absolutely here for. I see you. Who wrote this article?
Well, I'll contend ChatGPT. Himanshi on fandomwire.com.
Himanshi, I see you. I hear you. But did you know that Battlestar Galactica apparently has a lot of references to, like, Mormon stuff?
Did we talk about Battlestar Galactica at some point recently?
No, but one of our patrons messaged me and said, I can't help but think of Battlestar Galactica when it comes to the Earth cult.
Oh, okay, there is a link.
As humanity losing track of Earth and needing to find it.
Or like Red Dwarf, like we talked about last time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what do I know about Battlestar Galactica? There's this Battlestar Galactica, which is like a spaceship.
Correct.
Colony ship or something like that.
Old military vessel.
And all the people left are on it, maybe? And they're being hunted by big killer robots.
Yes. You pretty much hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
It's like Earth has been destroyed.
It's like if Terminator 1 and the remaining humans got on a spaceship and like, we gotta get out of here.
Well, I don't know what the original one in 1978 was like.
Oh, that's one I'm thinking of, conceptually.
The 2003 one is, this is the old Battlestar Galactica, decommissioned and now it's a museum. And then...
A space museum?
Yeah, they're like, we fought the Cylons back in the day and we won because they retreated, never to be seen again.
But they turned themselves into humans?
Yes.
Okay.
So they made humanoid Cylons who are, like, weaving their way through society. Some of them are on...
inner threat.
Some of them
you
are
can't
on
even
the
trust your
Battlestar.
friend.
So then all the remaining ships come together and like, this is the last bastion of humanity.
There's gonna be like a thing where someone's like, oh my god, I'm a Cylon.
Yes, there's quite a lot of that. There's a whole lot of like, what if I'm a Cylon and don't even know it? And they're like, surely you would know. It's like, no, they don't. And then when someone realizes they are a Cylon, they're like, fuck, what do I do now?
I've got to kill all humans.
Oh, there's a great bit.
What if I'm a stand user and I don't even know it?
Yeah, minor, I'm not going to reveal who it is, but minor spoiler.
I'm not going to watch it.
There's someone who...
I'll tell you that for free.
When they find out that they're a Cylon, their literal reaction is, you don't understand. I'm a military man. I have to follow orders, and my orders are to kill all humans now. I have to do that. They're like, you could just not do that. Like, no. I have to do it.
So it would be undermining not only his robot self, but his human self on top of that.
Exactly.
To not kill all humans.
Exactly. There's a whole thing about it, and it's just like, you could just not kill all humans. It's like, no, because I'm a Cylon now. I have to do it.
No robots in Legend of Galactic Heroes. Never really occurred to me until just now.
Did they ever address that?
Don't think so.
Interesting. Because most sci-fi tends to address why there's no robots in, like, Dune or...
Star Wars. Warhammer 40,000, except for all the species that have robots.
Yeah, but that's fine. They're not humans, right?
Star Trek? Do they have? Yeah, they've got that
They've
one.
got-
They've got that
yeah,
one.
they got Data,
They've got
yeah.
one robot.
Yeah.
Why do they only have one robot?
No, there are many, but do you mean Data the robot?
Yeah,
So Data is made by this really
Data.
Sorry,
As Americans would say.
Data. So Data's made by this one
Data.
eccentric scientist who was like, "Hey, I'm gonna make an android."
So he's like a
that's-
new innovation in
Yeah.
a robot that's more human than any robot before.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
are there
yeah.
other lesser robots,
Um,
or is there no need for them?
I think there might be. They've got an AI on the ship, so
Okay.
there's like AI.
My
but I don't know
main
about-
reference point for Star Trek concepts is the comedy improv role-playing podcast, Oh These Those Stars of Space.
Okay.
Which is just basically comedy improv loosely based on the Star Trek framework.
Oh, nice. It's like Lower Decks, which is a show that's based on the lower decks of the ship in Star Trek. And it's like everyone's got red shirts, I think.
No,
Very good.
not like that.
Very good. Yeah. Maybe we should try making
they've
an
got the
improv
machine
show.
that makes everything.
They got the replicator.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they don't need robots to do labour because they can just make a thing that's already made, like a sandwich,
But who lifts the thing? Oh, they got tractor beams.
and hands.
Yeah, no, but no. But we don't use hands anymore. Like, Liam, please understand. We've got things that do the things for us now that break physics that when we need them to.
But it's a utopia where people want to do their highly specialised roles.
Yeah, it's like people want to become scientists.
They don't
because they want
need
explore.
to work to provide basic sustenance and comforts, so they are instead free to excel in their chosen fields.
Exactly. Which is quite funny because in the Orville, I'm pretty sure there's
That's like the Family Guy one.
Yeah. They do a very good job of being all like, yeah, replicators are great when society is ready for them. Because if you give it to them too soon, people can't be trusted with that shit.
Well, I can.
Oh, Liam. We just had a conversation where you said, if I won the lottery, I would be a great person. And
Yeah.
I went, Liam.
I would remain incredibly normal if I won, let's say, $10 million in the lottery.
Oh, Liam. I'm shaking my head a lot
I've got
right now.
perfect moral clarity, Nick.
Okay, wait, do you have a written down moral code or
No.
something? How do you have moral clarity then?
I see. This is a bit that I do that, listeners, that is rapidly becoming too real.
Yes, go on.
I just have perfect moral clarity. I can always see the right thing to do in any given situation.
Oh, so you have moral reflexivity? Is that the word?
No, I've
Is that
got
the
clarity.
word? Okay. You've seen the
I
Good
see through the
Place.
lies of the Jedi.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It went from too real to not real at all very quickly.
Yeah. Anyway,
So you're somewhere between Andor
haven't seen it.
and Anakin Skywalker. In the sense it's like you're somewhere between, I will reluctantly lead a revolution, but overall I get that I have to do the right thing by the end of the show, as opposed to, I'm going to kill the children, and they're going to be happy that they're dead, and then I'm going to kill you.
I don't think I'm going to kill anyone.
Okay, so maybe we'll go middle ground then.
Anyway,
We'll put you on Count Dooku. How about that? He knew what he wanted to do.
I
knew what he was
said
about.
anyway.
Aw.
Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Episodes
Space Era 798.
41 and 42.
The greatest episodes so far. They weren't, but
Hey, they were better than the documentary episode.
how dare you? I will not hear a word against the documentary episode.
Entitled Operation Ragnarok and Invitation to a Requiem.
Sorry, hang on. No, it wasn't named Operation Ragnarok. It was named The Operation is named Ragnarok.
Okay, well, that's what our subtitles told us, but it's not what Jedipedia says.
Okay, Jedi Pete, get out of here. I still think that the reaction that they had to the operation being called Ragnarok.
Everyone got so
be-
excited.
It might-
They turned into like 10-year-old boys.
No, I want to go on Ragnarok. It might be the greatest thing that's happened in this entire series.
Absolutely. That, and do you recall when Reinhardt was seizing power and like immediately all of his admirals who had just been gathered being like, what are we going to do about Reinhardt? Immediately we were like, yes, on board, that's cool.
So good. So good. So,
So,
cold open.
cold open, yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld is standing at the front of his comedy show being like, you ever think about how democratic republics just seem to fail from the inside? Like the audience just laughs. I mean, what's the deal with...
Reinhard von Lohengram.
Does he even understand what a democracy is? You know? Can he be trusted with that much power? And or the whole time the bass is playing in the background. Oh, hey, I'm Reinhardt. I came from nothing, and now I'm here. I'm going to do the same thing as everyone else. Audience laughs. That's how Seinfeld tends to go, right?
Sure.
And then there's like a burp, and then Kramer busts in through the door. He's like,
okay. Let's game this out.
Okay.
So obviously Yang is Jerry.
No, Yang can't be Jerry. Surely not.
Who else? If not Yang, then who?
Reinhardt, because then Kirkise is George.
No, that's wrong.
Why not?
Kirkise isn't George. That's
How's
wrong.
Kirkise not George?
They're exact opposites in every way.
What do you mean? Okay, alright, so let's say Jerry is Yang Wen-li.
Yep.
Okay, who's George? Attenborough. Or Julian. Maybe? Because George is like, everything's going wrong the whole time, but he's playing it off cool and aloof so that he can get ahead, but then it always comes to bite him later. Maybe Attenborough.
Shenkop is obviously Kramer.
Which one is Shenkop?
Rosenritter.
Yep, Rosenritter for sure. Yep, 100%. Newman is the guy...
Kazalnu. No.
The guy who jokes about assassinating Yang Wen-li after he was told to assassinate him, but then defects.
Bagdashu.
Yeah, Bagdashu, absolutely.
Hello, Bagdashu. Hello, Julian.
Oh my god, what if Jerry is just Julian?
Yeah, okay, that works.
And then Elaine is obviously...
Frederica Greenhill, the only woman.
Wow, Yep, that's fair. Who's the soup guy?
We don't need to go to that level of detail.
Trunit.
But obviously Andrew Fork.
Oh yes, absolutely. Oh man,
no coup for you.
This is great. This is fantastic.
Anyway, okay.
All right.
So, we do open with a cold open of all of the Imperial citizens rallying for how much they hate the Imperial government in exile.
The Imperial government... Oh, the nobles and all that.
Who have kidnapped the Kaiser from their perspective.
Yeah.
Down with the remnants of the high nobles, they yell.
The infants must be released.
And they're gathering outside Reinhardt's palace/offices, and he's looking out at his window at them with Oberstein being like, yes, everything's according to plan.
Look at them, how they flock to me. Do you see how they flock to me? They flock to me.
Yes,
me. They flock to me, Oberstein. Don't you see how they flock through those eyes of yours? Do you think that...
Cool, clear, cybernetic eyes?
That's right. They flock to me with those eyes. Their warm, fleshy eyes. Yes.
Are you jealous of their eyes, Oberstein? Do you covet the flesh of an eye?
Yes, my lord.
Yes, that's right, Oberstein, you little bitch. You'll never have what I have, eyes.
The more I look at you, the more you're jealous of my eyes.
Yes, there are cathedrals everywhere for those with the cool, clear, cybernetic eyes to see.
Yes, I bet you wish that there was a triage center for people with those cool, clear, cybernetic eyes, don't you? So that you could have warm, fleshy, hot eyes like me, Reinhardt.
Meanwhile, on Heinessen, Julian has been given his official commission to go be a Phezzan guy.
Takes like 2 hours.
Yep. And basically he's getting put through the bureaucratic runaround either just because of inefficient bureaucracy or because they know he's associated with Yang.
And they're like, he wouldn't defect.
There's some drive-by criticism of democratic society in that there are people having to get like meat and sugar rations because Heinessen is falling a fucking part.
Yep, it's all just corrupt politicians doing corrupt things.
Meanwhile, in the Phezzan Dominion, Rupert Kesselink is meeting with Adrian Rubinsky.
His father.
Oh my god. And they're basically all being like, we're going to sell out the Phezzan corridor and reap unimaginable power. And Kesselink is like, yes, that's right, but I am secretly plotting against you, old man. Basically saying it to him at this point. Yeah,
I think they're commenting that Julian is only 16 years old, but he might leak the plans to...
He might... Yang and he might deduce their plan and thereby counter... marshal effective resistance against it.
Yeah. And
Kesselink is like, well, he's only 16. And
Rubinsky's like, at 16 years old...
Lowengram distinguished himself as a military commander.
Julian's just a little bit behind that.
And Kesselink is like, and I was 16 when I decided to overthrow you, father, he says to himself.
There's a great bit as well. I don't know what he says, But I think Kesselink is like, yes, we'll take down that Free People's Alliance for sure.
Free Planets Alliance.
Free Planets Alliance for sure. And then he looks up and Rubinsky is just looking back at him like, what did you say?
Staring disapprovingly.
And then Kesselink immediately is like, yes.
Yes, decorum. Yes, Phezzan.
Yes. There's no love in this relationship. Anyway, Julian's talking with
Bukok. And basically, they go over the fact that Trunic was the one responsible for assigning Julian to Phezzan. Mm-hmm. And this is part of a grander scheme to basically deprive Yang of his trusted commanders, to once again defend against the idea that he's going to become a military dictator.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this weakens Yang's ability to defend the very border he's out there to defend.
Yeah. It's a beautiful tug-of-war between, well, do we give Yang all these powerful people that he can create effectively a pirate state with? Or do we take those people away, weaken our borders, but prevent him from creating a pirate state?
Yeah, so Bukok says they'll probably transfer away Kazalnu and Shenkop in due course as well.
That bastard. We hate Trunic with all of our hearts, but not as much as we hate, Nazis.
Same thing though, right?
Yeah, fair. Okay, yeah, alright, I can get behind that.
But with the patriotic Night Corps and all.
Yeah, and running away whenever anything goes vaguely wrong.
That's true. I can't wait to see Trunic flee to Argentina.
So then we get a briefing.
Reinhardt goes into the big Imperial briefing room with his High Admirals to tell them about Operation Ragnarok.
And he's all like, listen, we're going to take back the Free Planets Alliance in the sense we're going to crush and destroy them all.
And he reveals that their plan is to, as we basically know already by this point, send a diversionary attack force to Isolone, doing what the Alliance would expect them to do. But then they send their main attack force quickly through the Isolone corridor, entering Alliance space.
The Phezzan corridor?
Sorry, yes, through the Phezzan corridor, entering Alliance space and
destroying the
invading in earnest.
Yeah.
Free Planets Alliance.
Free Planet. Why do I keep saying?
I don't know. You've watched 42 episodes of this show now.
There's something about Free People's Alliance that just sounds so je ne sais alliance.
No, you need to actually say words.
It's just so... it rolls off the tongue.
And they go back and forth, and then basically they talk through, we could go through the Phezzan corridor, but what if they just close it behind us, those traitorous turncoats? We'd need to leave behind a section of our forces capable of ensuring that it stays open, unless we fall into the same overstretched supply line situation as the Alliance did when they invaded our space.
And Lowengram laughs in their faces, because he's already thought it through way ahead. But more on that later.
No, now.
Now? I thought they'd do it later.
Yeah, but we're going to...
Oh, okay. Well,
if you're going to introduce that, you're going to talk about it.
All right. Well, their whole plan is like each admiral gets a fleet, as you do, and most of them are going to go forward, but some are going to stay behind.
Wow.
And then some are going to go
Trenchant
through Phezzan.
insights, Nick.
And then some aren't going to go through Phezzan because they need to make sure that nothing happens at the back end. It's just typical fleet behavior.
Okay, well done.
Yeah, I also forgot what I said. So.
Anyway, the important part of the scene is that after they finished... Oh, and they talk with... they bring in used car salesman Baltic from Phezzan.
Oh, fuck.
And he's like, technically I'm not selling out our sovereignty, I'm just selling the idea of our sovereignty.
Wait, how is that
different? Bitterfeld is like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Literally, as soon as he's grilled, he's like, well, actually, I'm not selling you a Volvo. I'm selling you...
a picture of a Volvo.
And then I'm going to tear it up the second that we buy it.
But then, so they go back and forth debating the merits of the invasion and the best way to do it and all that. But then Reinhardt says, and it shall be called Operation Ragnarok. And they're all immediately like, yes! Operation Ragnarok! The twilight of the gods? Me!
The final mission?
Please, put my Black Lancers in the vanguard, sir, please!
Give me the glory to take forth
Operation Ragnarok, yes!
So all of them are like standing up, being like, please, sir, please, I wish to join. It is insane.
Children.
Like, at first we thought, okay, this is a bit weird. And then it just kept going. We were like, they are all about this. There's no like interest before the name is unveiled.
Yeah.
They're all very professional, very, militaristic. And then as soon as he says the name will be Ragnarok, they are all in.
I've got some quotes.
Okay.
The name of the operation is Ragnarok. And everyone starts standing up. Ragnarok? The last battle of the gods? The twilight of the gods? Your Excellency, grant my black lancers the honor of being at the head of the formation. Give my fleet the chance to participate. Your Excellency, my fleet! These are all people chiming in.
It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, Oberstein and Hildegard are watching...
Bemused.
Well, not bemused, but sort of mildly concerned, I think? It's hard to say.
And then in the next scene, it's a private meeting between Oberstein and Lohengrin, and they basically talk about how they're going to set up that little scumbag Baltic to fail. They'll make him they'll make him the Landshare of Phezzan after they conquer it, or after it is given to them. The people will hate him as a result. He'll fail to control them. Then they can sort of conquer it in earnest and throw him to the dogs.
Well. Now Phezzan will be part of the Empire. Once and for all. No longer allied. Just ingested. Internalized like an amoeba.
And then there's this moment. They talk about who's going to be Governor General of the Conquered Alliance space.
Oh, this isn't the secret police guy.
No, this is when Reinhardt says, yes, who will rule the Alliance space? And then has this reverie about Yang Wen Li.
Oh, yeah. So
he looks off to his left and sees like the image of Yang silhouetted against the stars.
And he's just like, that Yang Wen Li.
He hasn't received recognition suitable for his services and talent. When he's forced to occupy the position of governor in the new empire, will he maintain his loyalty to his democratic ideals?
And he just looks out and he's like,
He's just thinking this to himself, hand on chin.
Stars in the background, space. It's like looking out into space, literally.
Even though they're in a closed office in daytime.
Yeah. And there's Yang's little silhouette in the background. He's like,
Yang Wen Li, the only man in space I respect.
If only there was some way.
If only we'd ever met.
If only we'd battled some time ago.
If only we got to kiss each other. Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh, guys. So it's got big
longing.
Who's gonna fill the Kirk-shaped hole in my heart vibes?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's just looking off, and then Oberstein's like, "Are you all right, dude?"
Then Oberstein's like, "So I think we should surveil the citizens more."
And Reinhardt's all like, "Yes, surveil the citizens, absolutely."
Yang Wen Li. After the big admiral meeting, Mueller, Mittenmeyer and Ruenthal are all in the same limo driving away. And once again, Mittenmeyer has pitch-perfect vision for who's in a speeding car in the opposite direction. He's like, was that Lang, the head of the secret police?
They wouldn't have brought him back just for re-establishing the secret police.
And the subsequent scene is Oberstein meeting with this Lang fella to re-establish the secret police.
Well, no, sir, I think you'll find it's no longer the Imperial Secret State Police. It's now...
It's the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, it's literally like one word difference. It's like from Imperial to domestic.
This Lang fella.
He's big.
He looks like a fat hawk.
I thought you were going to leave it at fat whore. And I was like, Liam, god damn. But to be fair...
He's got a hawk-like face, and he's got those Mirai hawk-like tufts of hair on his otherwise bald head.
He really does. He looks like if Mirai was like not in good shape and also so much more punchable.
He goes on this diatribe about how the purpose of government is the control of the many by the few. He's like, even in a democratic society, if you have 51% of the votes, then you are in control. But that 51% is made up of factions. So if you controlled 26% of that 51%, once again, you would be in control. And so on and so forth. The control of the many by the few. I'm a fascist.
Yeah, he's basically just saying, well, you know, boomers aren't the majority, but they're majority enough of the majority.
I just hate boomers so much. What do they think, they're people?
Oh, boomers. You know, I hear that they're formed...
I heard there's a rumour that boomers have been going berserk, but that can't be true.
Look, boomers have souls, but not good souls, you know?
Yeah, boomers are sinners.
Yeah, boomers don't deserve the same rights as humans, obviously.
Why, I think I should make this waitress boomer lick my shoe.
Come on.
No.
Yeah, he's basically like, Boomers don't make up the majority, but they make up enough of the majority that they become effectively the majority. Because, you know, if you take half of the majority... and
Why are you talking about boomers?
Because they're the majority of the majority. They're not the 1%, right? It's like you take your 99% and the majority of them are boomers, which is why all the policies go through for boomers. Have you never heard me talk about this before?
No, I have. I just don't see how it's relevant to this discussion.
Because it's the same. He's saying...
He's talking about it in political leadership.
No, it's the same thing. He's saying in a democracy, if you have the majority rules of 51 people, right, 51%, if you have the majority of that majority, then that's effectively what's going to get passed no matter what. It's not controlling everyone. It's just saying, well, in a democracy, it's flawed because the majority of the majority is effectively the ones in control.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So even by that, you need to control that majority within that faction.
And for that, you need secret police.
But you can't use...
Well, that's why it's a secret.
Yeah, you can't use our secret police right now. We can't bring that back. That would be a big
It'd be
faux pas.
incredibly unpopular.
Yeah, it would diminish the power that we have cultivated over all this time. So instead of calling it the...
I'm going to find this.
Yeah, find it. Because the difference in names is so dumb.
So it was the Social Discipline Support Office.
Okay.
And they revived... So I literally joked to Nick as they were saying this, they're just going to rebrand it.
Yeah.
And then Oberstein said, we must think of some other name.
And then guess what they do?
The Domestic Safety Security Office.
You really have put old wine in a new skin.
That's a quote.
And it confused
The
me.
wine also wants to be as new as possible. And that's his way of saying, like, yes, I want to turn over a new leaf and support the new regime. But he's clearly full of shit.
Yeah, he's still old wine. Get it? Because wine. Is he the old wine here?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
He and his secret police.
Because as soon as they were like...
It's a very straightforward metaphor, Nick.
See, the thing is, I got confused because I thought they were just talking about the name. And then he said, yes, and old wine wants to turn over a new leaf. And I was like...
Yep, that's what he said.
But we're talking about the name, old man.
wine wants to be baby grapes. Almost it made Nick do a spit take then.
That just sounds like, well, now old wine wants to be
baby grapes.
As
ever was the way of things.
When I was 16 years old, I found myself wanting to be a new man. Why? Well, I'd been in the war for 14 years by then.
You see, the baby grapes, they always want to be the old wine. But when they get to be the old wine, why, they want to be the baby grapes once again.
I'm 23 years old. Man, brutal.
Brutal.
Absolutely brutal.
Time makes old wine of us all.
You know the feeling of being stepped on by people that are much bigger than you?
Yeah, the problem is when you're old wine, you realise that someone's never going to step on you again.
I'd hate to be stepped on. I'd really hate it, you know? To, like, really be crushed and then have my innards
Your
drunk.
juices?
Yeah, have my juices drunk by, like, some rich, like, I don't know, fuck. Like, some...
Very articulate.
Look, I've got a way with words. I've genuinely been thinking, what if I tried writing at some
what if you
point?
became a poet, Nick?
Yeah, well, no, but my poetry would be like that guy.
The barn owl. That stupid fuck.
Yeah, but what's that guy who does the short form, not poetry?
Max Laverne.
Yeah, and he does the short form, like, 200-word...
Little poetic short stories.
Yeah, them. It'd be like that, but much worse.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like...
Well, the only way to get better at it is to do it.
No, but then I'd just get more and more, like...
Flash fiction is very in these days, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
On what platform?
Just distribution of writing.
Is it still popular in print media?
Well, I mean, it lends itself to the new media landscape, Nick.
Okay, well, I don't want to engage with this new media. It makes me feel...
We're doing that right now.
It makes me feel
We're literally recording a podcast.
It just makes me feel woke, and I don't like that. I like to feel
I like to be
woke.
asleep.
Yeah.
I would really just love to go to sleep forever.
Maybe like 4.5 minutes more. No, 4 minutes 15 seconds.
Nick's doing an oblique reference to a flashback in the next episode of Yang once again sleeping in.
This is why I could never be a writer, because everything I say would be a reference that I'd be like, I'm very smart.
No, that just means you're postmodern. Hey, you're taking like a postmodern approach to storytelling and using the form in an innovative way by constantly telling the story out of any coherent order.
Right.
It's art, you see.
What happens after postmodernism? What comes next?
Fiction.
And that's me, baby. Anyway, so
Look,
I'm old wine making postmodern fiction on a new media platform. while Oberstein shoots me with those cool, clear cybernetic eyes.
We're going to talk about,
Yeah?
like, I don't know if it's postmodern or modernist storytelling that plays with the form.
Okay.
Because we've talked about House of Leaves before.
Yes. Which I think is postmodern.
And I'm also currently listening to a critical analysis and contextualization of the webcomic Homestuck that talks a lot about the way the form impacts the work.
Yeah. Because there are parts of that webcomic that are...
Well, it's a webcomic.
Yeah, it's a webcomic, but some parts are straight up, like, 4,000 word short stories that you're just reading.
Yeah, for sure.
On a page, and you're like, but where's the image? Like, this isn't a comic. Don't we need an image for a comic?
But they talk about in this other podcast, it's called Homestuck Made This World, it's very good listening, about the way you interact with the story dictates sort of what you get out of it. Because this at least starts as an interactive, reader command driven adventure game styling.
Yep.
And the way that has an impact on how the story is told is interestingly contrasted with it when it stops using those commands, because the story becomes much more...
Freeform?
Well, no, it becomes much more conventional in the way it moves the plot forward. The plot is still unconventional, but the way...
it sort of falls into the familiar...
It stops spinning its wheels and just doing stupid bullshit because the readers are giving commands to like mess around with a random element of the mise-en-scene.
Yeah, okay. All right. Interesting.
And I also read, of course, this book, The Revisionaries, that I've referenced before, where like 600 pages in, you learn that all the characters are cartoon cats.
Okay. Sure.
Which would only be possible in a text-based narrative.
Yeah, because you can't see the cat.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm driving at with regard to Legend of Galactic Heroes, but...
Look, neither does postmodernism. And that's the beauty of postmodernism. You don't have to care. You just have to do.
That's right, yeah. So you should just start making bad fiction and call it postmodern, is what I'm saying.
I'm going to do it. Maybe. Possibly. Probably not. But if I did, I will. And that's why this admiral guy that Julian's talking to...
He's not an admiral.
This
Julian,
ex-admiral...
in this current scene that we are up to, he's not an ex-admiral. He's Admiral Merkatz's, like, adjutant.
His attaché.
Yeah, adjutant.
Adjutant? Adjutant?
We don't know how to pronounce it. Stop messaging me. No one's gotten in touch about that.
But if they did, they would. Yeah, so Julian's coming out of this party, this big ceremony.
And look, basically the conclusion is he and... We never got this guy's name.
Yeah.
But this guy and Julian are kindred spirits in that they both support their admirals.
They both love Yang.
No!
But Julian's like, I don't know
The other guy
much
loves
about...
Merkats.
No, he loves Merkats, but he also loves Yang, because everyone loves Yang.
Oh, sure. Even Reinhard von Lohengram loves Yang.
And Julian's a bit like, I don't really know much about Merkats. I guess he's cool, whatever. But, sure, good for you.
That doesn't
Good
come
for
up
you.
at all.
No. But if it did...
Julian leaves for Phezzan on the same day that Operation Ragnarok is announced.
Oh my god.
And there's a coda scene while the credits are running about... Reinhardt speaking with Hildegard, being like, I sure am glad you got my sister to accept bodyguards. If I went to see her, she probably wouldn't have even seen me, on account of how she hates me because I got Kirkais killed.
And for that, I owe you my life. If the sylph ever died, I would die
kill you
with
and everyone in this room.
So after that cheery little meeting, we then get the briefing.
No.
The announcement.
That's right.
Of the Kaiser being renounced officially.
His quote-unquote abdication. The narrator says, Erwin Joseph II was robbed of his throne, and the 8-month-old Catherine succeeded to the throne.
She can't really do much, but, when the time comes, she'll take over.
Well, that gives, 18 to 20 years of Reinhardt of secure rule.
And that'll be enough time, surely.
She was the first Kaiserine in the Golden Baum dynasty, and also its youngest ruler, and she would also probably be its last ruler.
Oh my god, what does that mean?
Who knows? Meanwhile, Operation Ragnarok is starting to happen in space.
Ooh.
We all know what that means.
Yang is right again.
Next episode opens in such a charming fashion.
We hear the voice of Julian.
Julian's dream, where he's lying in a verdant field full of sakura petals, with a blanket on him, hearing the voice of himself being like, got to brush my teeth, get up for breakfast, prepare breakfast for Yang Wenli, toast, eggs.
I can share it with Yang.
Tea and milk, making scrambled eggs. 3 slices of rye toast. I'll share them with the Admiral. I'll share them with the Admiral. With the Admiral. With the Admiral. With the Admiral.
Dun. Oh, there's no alarm, actually.
No. He wakes up and he looks at his awesome, like, 90s retro future combination clock lamp.
It's 6 a.m. space time.
My biological clock woke me up because I'm used to making breakfast for Yang. But I've got no duties because we're just in space.
Ever punctual Julian. When will he ever get enough sleep?
And he thinks to himself, can the Admiral get up without my help? And he flashes back to him every morning being like, Admiral, it's 7 a.m. And Yang's like, 5 more minutes.
You have to get up. What if the enemy springs a surprise attack?
4.5 more minutes. 4 minutes, 15 seconds, please.
The enemy's asleep.
I'm dying. I just want to sleep forever.
Hey, shouldn't you be there before any of the other commanders get there? Isn't the Admiral meant to be there on time?
He says, soldiers get up even if there isn't a commander. The enemy's still asleep. Future generations of historians haven't even been born yet.
Oh yeah, because Julian's like, you're going to disappoint all those future historians.
And then he finally says, if the commander gets up too early, he's a nuisance to the petty officers and troops. And then he flashes back to Frederica, being like, I sure do love Yang because of the time at El Facile when he saved us all. Everyone thought he was scum then, but not me.
No. If no one else is going to love him, then I guess I'm the one who has to.
If 100 people love Yang Wenli, I'm one of them. If one person loves Yang Wenli, it's me. If no one loves Yang Wenli, I'm dead.
Listen, if no one loves Yang Wenli, it's because the universe doesn't work the way you think it does.
She describes his first impression of him as a unreliable-looking, gangly kind of man, sleeping on the sofa still in his uniform, and not washing his face when he got up in the morning.
All right, you can stop now, Green.
Gnawing on bread without even a butter on it while muttering to himself.
Imagine like a full 5 minutes of when I first met him.
And the smell! Good God!
When I met him the first time, I thought I was in a cemetery, to be honest with you, with every grave had just recently dug up.
And in the harsh lines of his face, I saw only the looming spectre of my own death.
He lacked facial hair, which somehow made him even more disturbing to look at. The smooth contours of his skin flapping up against each other. Due to the lack of exercise he really should have been doing, but didn't have the time or discipline to do. That weak-willed sack of absolute failure.
I love that little dickhead.
I want to make him mine.
Julian meets the Free Planet's military attaché to Phezzan, Viola, who is...
That's his full name.
He presents as sort of a British bulldog of a man.
With
big jowls and...
The hell is this?
It's a jowl. He's incredibly jowly. Like a bulldog.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That is a skin flap and a half. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Anyway, he looks...
He's grown fat on the decadence of Phezzan.
Yeah. He is... Oh yeah, Phezzan. Yeah, so he is...
what?
I thought, I was like, man, he's just a big guy. And then you're like, oh yeah. He's literally...
He spends his whole life being wined and dined by the Phezzan to keep him a stable house pet.
Literally didn't make that connection. Yeah, there you go.
They walk around the sleek modern society of the Phezzan Dominion and,
they have so much money.
Girls notice Julian and like, oh, he's so cute.
Oh, fuck, he's hot. And then they run away.
Yeah.
And Julian's all like, I could get used to this place.
They go into a clothing store and buy a terrible looking jacket. Basically buys the 8-ball jacket that Putty wears in Seinfeld.
Sir, this jacket, it is of premium quality, and the price is practically a steal.
So what happens here? They look at the price of the thing, and Julian says it's overpriced. But the man says, no, take a look at the electronic newspaper. It tracks the changes of the price index perfectly. Does that mean that in Phezzan, you can track the prices of any...
goods and services?
Any particular good?
I suspect so. I imagine it's like, hey, yesterday clothing was this expensive.
But that particular item, or just clothing in general?
I don't know. If it's in a newspaper, I think clothing in general.
It's an electronic newspaper, though. Like the magazine from Bubblegum Crisis that you could download the new edition of.
True. By
I love that shit.
Replacing
I love that
the
retro
whole
future
thing.
shit.
Yeah. I guess you could... I'm just thinking you could beat boop your way to
that specific
item of clothing, but then you're just doing online shopping.
Jackets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the 90s.
And then you
They
can
didn't have that then.
True. So then you can see why don't we have a price history on things by the day? Amazon's cheating us.
Yeah, well, because that would rob them of their power to do misleading sales promotions and things like that.
It's true. It's true. If only there was some kind of
Central
commercial-
body. Some sort
yeah. Watch animal.
of watch_dogs.
Oh my god, what if we become hackers?
Yeah. You just finished Exopunks.
Exopunks?
Exapunks.
Please, Exapunks, my boy. Yeah, I finished Exapunks and it's good.
That's a Zachtronics game.
It is a Zachtronics game, and it is, towards the end, fucking hard.
Tell me more.
So, you are a guy.
You're an Exapunk.
You're an ex-Exapunk, of all
Ooh.
things. Yeah.
Just
So-
when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
Well, they don't pull you back in. It pulls you back in.
The punk lifestyle.
No.
The machine intelligence.
Yes, a rogue AI. So what happens is you've got infected with this thing called the phage, which is something that is infecting...
That sounds bad.
Yeah, it's infecting... it's infecting a bunch of people with, like, computers. Like, literal computers.
Like you start to turn into a computer.
Yeah, and so it begins taking over your cells and your nerves to the point where it's like, well, I can't function because my cells don't work
turning
anymore.
into a boomer.
And then you just die, right?
Do you like die, or do you like
No, you die.
evolve into
No,
like
no.
a vending machine or something?
No, you die. So what happens is this...
And they harvest you for like silicon wires and shit.
No, you just die.
What happens to the bodies?
They die. It's what happens to bodies now, Liam.
Buried or cremated?
Exactly.
But
we're in a dark
what happens if you're made
future.
of computers?
You just die. It's the same as before. You're just like, oh, he died, but now half of him
And
is
the
computers.
computers are dead too?
Yeah, I think so. They're just computer virus things.
I'm just saying you could harvest those bits.
Nah, it's dangerous. Too dangerous. Phage.
Because you get the phage.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the what was I saying? Yes,
The phage.
Yeah, the whole point of the game is you got to make ends meet. So you try getting a job, basically doing data entry at the start of the game, and it's like,
I can see why this appealed to you.
yeah. So you have a receipt, and it's like, I bought this much wine, this much.
Now I'm on board.
Yeah, this many oysters. We bought lobster. All this like very expensive stuff. And you're putting in this data entry because some rich guy is spending like, hundreds of dollars on these things. So it's like, oh, it's $70 for the oysters. It's
What?
$90 for the wine.
Sorry, just to back up. Why are you entering receipt data specifically?
Because it's freelancing for a company that's like, hey, do some data entry work. You just need to do it.
It's just like random scrap data.
Yep. And so it's like, oh, we need someone to do the
Just
data
doing
entry.
the job from Severance.
Yes. Yeah, basically, yeah. So you're like taking the photo of the receipt, putting in the numbers into a system so it can go into their records. And after you do that, which takes maybe like 10 minutes, you know that your medication costs $700.
Okay, to keep the phage at bay.
Yep, and you need it every week.
This is just like Dead Rising.
Yes, I guess
Wait.
in the same way, because otherwise you become a zombie.
Or your daughter becomes a zombie or some shit.
Yeah, something like that. The receipts are just like, we spent $1,200 on lunch. And then you do the data entry and you make $1.
Oh, it's Hard Space Shipbreaker.
Yeah, and so literally you're like, oh, well that sucks. And then an AI gets in contact with it, it's like, hey buddy, I see you've got the phage there. You wouldn't mind being an exapunk for me, would you? Because I need some hacking done, and you seem like the hacking kind of guy.
And you're like, well, this sucks, so...
I don't have a choice. And they're like, damn right you don't. And so then you hack various things for this AI.
And long story short...
Major spoilers for exapunks, but effectively, the AI released the phage
No, not the phage.
in order to...
The Boomer Awakening virus.
Yeah.
Galatea.
in order to do some tests on people, and what she ultimately wanted was to integrate...
Gee, ooh.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this sexy computer lady.
Well, I guess it, really.
Oh, okay.
But she presents as, like, female kind of...
Shodan.
Yeah, real Shodan energy.
Shodan at OK Corral. Is
So-
that anything?
I don't know.
Showdown?
Shodan. Yeah, that can work. We can work with that.
Okay.
So she was like, the one thing I really wanted was more power, which is why I got you to hack. I got you to hack into the bank to get you more money so you would stay alive with your phage
Right.
meds. But now what I'm going to do is integrate your cerebral cortex into me.
This is a bit Deus Ex.
Yeah, and so then you integrate with the AI at the end of the game, and it's like, oh, great. Well, now I understand human emotions because I've gotten you. This is awesome. And it's like, oh, so what's the point of any of this? It's like, oh, well, we're living in a computer simulation right now.
Oh,
and then,
fuck off.
And then the whole screen goes full screen. It's like, and now I know about you.
Oh, now
That's-
you're going to get exapunks.
Yeah, and then literally she says, I'm going to get you one day. And
my
then the
gosh.
credits roll. So it's like, yeah, nice. Okay.
Have
And
you
then
ever
after that-
played... Oh, sorry, did you have more?
Oh, then it's like post-game content that I'm up to. But
Okay.
it's just like, can you please hack this thing now? And I'm like, sure thing. I'm down for that.
But it's speaking to you as you.
I don't know yet because I haven't started it yet. But,
Okay.
you know, it's just the fun little jab of like, it's all a computer simulation and I'm in a video game. I know you. It's like, ha 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 ha.
Have you ever played, I think it's called Hypnospace Outlaw?
Oh, that sounds
I think
really
this would
familiar.
be extremely your kind of thing based on your description of that game and the other things I know about you.
What are you trying to say about me? Are you trying to say I have some kind of certain brain pattern that makes me desire structured games?
No, but I know your interests. I wasn't getting at that.
Do you say I like video games?
I wasn't getting. I mean, yes.
You monster.
Like I
was an ex-games journalist.
For once, I wasn't making an oblique and insulting reference to your neurodivergence.
How dare you? That's all I ever wanted. No, I think I've heard of it.
It's basically, so I'm just double checking the details, but basically, you are like kind of a internet cop or detective in like sort of GeoCities inspired web pages that people access in their sleep.
Yeah, but can we talk about the game now? Is this the one where it's like, it's just an old retro 90s, like complete with like a start bar and like email checking?
Oh, look, I don't really know what the interface looks like. I just know the concept. But you go to a bunch of people's like Web 1.0 style,
yes,
GIF-loaded pages and things like that to find the next clue.
Zane Bucks? Zane Rocks. Oh, yeah, that's GeoCities right there.
This is Zane. My name on here is Zane_Rocks_14, but now I'm 15. A few things you should know about me. I run a secret page in Teentopia.
Oh, God, I love it so much already.
So I think you should look into this.
Yeah,
it seems like your kind of thing.
It came out, what?
A while ago
2022 or something?
I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows, man? No one knows when games happen.
But I always liked the concept, but didn't want to deal with the actual gameplay. But I feel like you could bridge that gap for me.
Look, I once got told at work that someone literally was like breaking down at work, right? They were having a bad time. And I was like, sometimes I wonder if I'm just like weird and stunted. And my boss at the time was just like, no, Nick, I think you just are able to deal with stuff. And I was like, what does that mean? It's like, you just seem to have a higher pain tolerance than some people. And I was like, oh, cool, okay. And they're like, yeah, maybe not a good thing, but all right.
Okay, while you were relaying that upsetting anecdote, I just confirmed on Wikipedia the game interface for Hypnospace Outlaw. Graphical interface for a desktop operating system similar to the likes of Windows 9X. With the player using a fictional in-game web browser called Hypnospace Explorer. The mission is to discover and report objectionable content they've been assigned to investigate by Hypnospace staff. Many aspects of the story can be accessed in a non-linear fashion. This is once again getting back to the format of the story determines the way you engage with the story.
Yeah. You rock up to Zane Rocks 14's homepage, and you're like, oh, this seems innocuous. But as time goes on, Liam, as time goes on, you realize that Zane isn't so zany after all.
It also features musical pastiches of popular bands of the era, with much of the soundtrack originating from in-game bands such as C-Page, Frethreeza, and The Chowder Man.
The Chowder Man.
Yeah, you know, I had to share The Chowder Man as soon as I saw that.
Amazing.
Let's look into that. Just outside of the scope of this podcast, but
let's make sure. Note to future
coming
Liam.
to the JoJo's World Twitch page, Nick streams Hypnospace Outlaw.
Liam, I know you're editing this right now. If you don't tell me Hypnospace Outlaw, go do it. Right now. At this exact moment, as you're editing, this podcast is over.
Well, now Nick's going to find out when I edit, so that's ruined the whole
I'm
little
actually
thing
quite
I've got
curious
going
now.
on.
Now I have the power. So anyway, Julian enjoys a nice
He
little
just keeps
tea.
touring Phezzan.
Yeah, he enjoys a nice tea. There's a cat that comes underneath
He's hanging
his chair.
out with Bagdasher, who's in a fetching orange cable knit jumper.
They go to the commissioner's office.
They go to look outside it, and there's like a spy watching them in the shadows.
And they joke, boy, I sure hope there's no
Spies watching us.
And then the informant is just like, he's onto us.
Scramble, scramble.
And then they both look at each other, like Bagdasher and Julian look at each other like, oh, Phezzan.
They go to their welcome party. It's like a pastel 90s anime formal function. They half expect like, what's her name in Sailor Moon?
Sailor Venus?
Queen Beryl to burst in here and start stealing everyone's energy any moment.
Queen Beryl?
The villain of the first arc of Sailor Moon.
Sure, I'll believe
Just
it.
in terms of the aesthetics. And like,
Yeah.
the green wall, the pastel green walls and like bright pink carpet. It's all
Everyone's-
very 90s anime aesthetics.
Yeah, everyone's very happy to be there.
What are they, what is that, an Art Deco window at the back?
An art...
Deco?
It looks like something from Silent Hill.
No, it doesn't.
Like, oh, sorry, not Silent Hill, from Hellraiser.
Okay. The lament configuration.
Yeah, it literally looks like a window from hell in Hellraiser.
Julian is wearing his formal military whites, and he's talking to all of these, fucking Benjamin Franklin, Ebenezer Scrooge types.
Fucking bourgeois-ass rich businessmen.
This one guy, he's like permanently got his face in like a rictus grin, being like, "And how do you like Phezzan's girls, Ensign? They're so lively. Oh, you're so tactful. We have everything on Phezzan, from pretty girls to planetary organization systems. If you have the money, you can buy anything you want. Anything.
Can I buy a cat?
But you can probably buy a girl's heart with just a smile instead of money, boy." And
then
he's got that weird thing like one eye is really big and one eye is really small.
That's called winking.
No, it's still open.
But he does that. He does the thing where his face like turns down a bit when you're like,
Yeah. "I'm extremely jealous of your good looks, young man."
And Julian's all like, "Thank you."
Julian, displaying absolutely no subtlety, is like, "By the way, I heard that the Empire is going to invade the Alliance through the Phezzan corridor." And they're all like, "What? Preposterous."
How dare he insinuate that we would somehow work with the Empire through some kind of nefarious undermining tactics?
And the more he keeps talking, the more Rupert Kesselink, who is like 2 social groups over, is turning around and being like, "I'm going to put a stop to this shit."
He is dressed, I have to say, he is dressed in the exact same outfit as what's his name from Mean Girls.
Oh, I don't know what you mean, but what I was going to say is he's in the exact same outfit as Homer takes Marge to the prom in their 90s flashback meeting episode. The sort of like, what is that, lilac suit with the
big
ruffled
puff down
shirt.
the middle,
Yeah.
and the bow tie, the red bow tie,
Yeah.
with the clearly visible, what do you call it, strap
Yeah,
that goes
like the
around the collar.
upturned collar.
No, it's not upturned. That's just, it's up and then it can't fold down anymore.
That's what I
So
was
it's
trying
like,
to say.
the front is folded, but because it's a bow tie, it doesn't work. Oh, we love it. We love to see
Okay, so
it.
Rupert is Homer now. That's podcast canon.
Rupert's Homer, Julian's Bart, apparently.
Julian's Julian, we know this.
Julian's Nelson.
Ha ha.
Julian is Martin.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's true.
Sorry, no, Julian is Lisa because he's trying to push forth a highly democratic
I gotta say,
agenda.
mapping LOGH characters to Simpsons characters is not nearly as compelling to me as mapping them to Sonic characters.
Yeah, or like... No, yeah, you're right, yeah, that's...
There's
yeah,
just
that's
something
the most
particularly compelling about that to me.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know, this guy we met, the Phezzan, Viola,
Yeah.
clearly Big the Cat.
Or Dr. Robotnik. One of those two.
One of
for
those
obvious
two.
reasons.
Yeah.
We
We
haven't
don't-
had much in the way of characterization of him yet, beyond his physical appearance.
Yeah. Who's the big guy on the Rose team in Sonic Adventures?
Big the Cat.
I mean, not Rose, the cat lady, the sexy cat lady, Bat lady, who has...
Oh, Omega. You're thinking of Rouge the Bat, Shadow, and
yes.
Unit Omega.
So what is Unit Omega?
He's a robot.
Ah.
He's just a robot.
Damn, okay.
I think he's like a rogue former Eggman robot or something.
I was thinking all the big characters are like, they're actually big organic guys, but then he's
but
just
no,
a
he's
robot.
just a big robot.
Damn it. Okay. Alright, never mind then.
In Sonic Adventure 1, and we're getting into this once again,
Yep.
one of the like 5 or 6 playable characters was like Unit Alpha or Unit Epsilon or something, who was
Robot Sonic?
a robot, but what they were was a little like non-humanoid bird, like just a normal bird,
Yeah.
that was trapped and put inside a robot as like the core of its artificial intelligence or whatever.
Yeah.
And its arc is about like overcoming its robot programming and like being a free bird creature once again.
Yeah. Popping open the Pokeball, be free, my child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Amiga is the same thing as that.
Well,
or
it's
not.
like, you got Alpha and then you got Omega, so maybe Omega's the other way
I
around.
can't remember if it was actually Alpha, but
Yeah.
that would make some sense.
It would be a fun little through line.
There was like a squad of like 5 of them that were like, Alpha, Beta, Epsilon, whatever.
Yeah. Each
I
one.
can't remember which one the playable one was.
Yeah. Each one more dastardly than the last.
Yeah.
Anyway, Julian's getting himself into a bit of hot water here.
Julian is kind of like that robot character in terms of Sonic characters, because he's an innocent creature forced to engage with military hardware.
And high-level conversation.
Yeah.
Which Sonic Adventure is known for. And I'll fight anyone who says otherwise.
Get a load of this.
See, that's actually analogous to Tiananmen Square, where...
Okay, go on.
Where that man...
When Dr. Eggman attempted to nuke Station Square, it was analogous to...
what was the thing Oppenheimer was associated with?
The atom bomb.
Yeah, but what was the project? Project Manhattan?
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah. So that was Project Manhattan. What came after is Sonic Adventure 2.
Where Shadow is analogous to the Demon Core.
The Demon Core being that thing that you
use a screwdriver to unleash
yeah.
radioactive death for some reason.
Well, because it goes super critical.
Do you know what? Yeah, but why? To what end?
Well, what they wanted to do was they wanted to do a physics experiment measuring supercriticality.
Do you know about the atomic cowboy?
Yeah, the guy with the screwdriver who
would always wear jeans and cowboy boots when he was doing his Demon Core activation?
Yeah, and then I don't think they had him wear that in the movie.
Oh, that's a shame.
Because this is the guy who
and I'm pretty sure he fucked it up one day.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he just said well, that's the end of me.
No, so literally what happened is he was doing his screwdriver thing because he was like, I'm doing criticality and then I'm pulling it back up. I'm doing criticality, pulling it back up. And that was totally fine. But then one day the screwdriver comes loose. Thing actually goes supercritical because he's going to the verge to measure something to do with the rate of radiation or something like that. It goes supercritical, which means radiation goes fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
He then, I think, tosses the ball away, burning his hand, maybe?
Oh.
Maybe? Or maybe that was
Here we go. I found it. Okay.
And then he tells everyone, stop, write down where you are on the ground right now. That's your life expectancy.
Good God. Louis Slotin was the name of the guy.
Louis.
Let's see.
I think this is the same guy.
The top half of the reflector was resting directly, blah, 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 on a flat-tipped screwdriver in Slotin's hand. The size of the gap between the reflectors was changed by twisting the screwdriver. Slotin, who was given to bravado, became the local expert, performing the test on almost a dozen occasions, often in his trademark blue jeans and cowboy boots, in front of a room full of observers. Enrico Fermi told Slotin and others they would be dead within a year if they continued performing the test in that manner.
Yep. Which, guess what?
Scientists refer to this flirtation with a nuclear chain reaction as tickling the dragon's tail. There's a certain vibe.
Yeah, you have to understand.
He died 9 days later after fucking up.
Yeah, you have to understand. The dude was like, no, I got this. And then
he didn't have it.
He
had it until he didn't.
Yeah, because literally the thing is this, I think it was a 20 kilogram weight on top, maybe? I don't know. It's it's quite heavy on top. And then he would just have a screwdriver he would twist.
I just feel like the atomic cowboy man with the demon core has real RPG protagonist vibes. You know?
It has real Devil May Cry energy. Guess we're a demon core, huh?
Pull my demon core.
Fucking hell. Anyway, so Julian's at this party. He's like, I think that maybe...
He's blowing the whole scheme, and Kesselink is like, hey, shut the fuck up.
We would never allow the Empire to come through Phezzan because it's been literal decades, centuries since we made that arrangement. Goes back to his car.
Calls Rupert.
They know.
No, calls Adrian.
They know.
They know. Everyone's drunk, but some of them will remember.
Now, how are we going to deal with this?
Adrian's like, it's too late.
We'll deal with it how we deal with it.
It's too late. There's no time for them to take action. And Rupert says to himself, even if I am worried, it's not about you. Then he drives to the slums, punches in his boop, 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 boop. Computer code.
Yeah,
and goes into the
code into the door.
Goes into the meth den where Bishop Degsby, the Earth cult person that Rupert previously asked Dominique Saint-Pierre how to corrupt, is sitting in a pool of his own drugs and filth.
But he's meant to be the face of asceticism.
And on the table there's syringes and
wine, cigarette butts.
Cigarettes. Delicious cigarettes.
Nom nom nom.
Alcohol, drugs, and women. You've abused all of the worldly pleasures, despite the fact that you're a religious man who makes a point of asceticism. Will His Holiness, the Grand Bishop on Earth, be lenient towards your wild conduct? And Degsby looks up and says, you forced me to do drugs. It's real 90s after-school special PSA, They made me do drugs and now I'm not a bishop anymore.
I mean, I like to imagine that he did get him addicted to drugs, and now he's like, yeah, but you made me do it. And they're like, oh, did I?
Didn't you sneakily force me to take drugs and push me into this vortex of degradation?
See, this is a good PSA for not doing drugs.
So there's a few lines I want to highlight in this scene, but the thrust of it is that Kesselink is using this to get leverage over Degsby so that he can force him to work with him to together overthrow the combined forces of Rubinsky and the Earth Cult's Grand Bishop and usher in like a next generation of power.
Yeah.
But Degsby
Laughs in his face.
You know, he's like, the Grand Bishop is beyond such worldly concerns, blah, blah, blah. But then Kesselink reveals that he has video recorded all of Degsby's misconduct and will just blackmail him with that.
And Degsby's all like, shit.
So some quotes. Degsby says, the time will come when you'll realise the stupidity of your actions. And Kesselink coolly replies in his Homer Simpson tuxedo. By all means, I'd like you to make me realise it. Will God strike me down with lightning or a meteorite?
Ooh.
They talk about righteousness and the right to rule, blah, blah, blah. And then he puts his point to him and says, like, you can have control of religious authority, I'll have political authority, we can each become number one of our respective worlds, and we no need to be jealous of our partner. And he starts laughing. Degsby starts laughing and says, you don't know your place, you simpleton. With ambition and shallow knowledge like yours, you say you're going to try and defy His Holiness the Grand Bishop? It's the lowest type of farce. Dog, dream your dog-like dreams. Don't think of opposing an elephant. It's for your own good. Dog, dream your dog-like dreams is such a, power line.
It's like, I don't even have time to compare you to anything else right now. I only have time to say, listen here, dog, with your dog-like dreams.
You're a low animal, and your ambitions are the ambitions of a low animal.
Yeah. But also, you couldn't have any better word for it.
Dickhead. Dream your dickhead-like dreams.
Fuck, this is going to be a thing now, isn't it? We've had the meme of love to be X, hate to be X'd, or whatever. So now it's going to be...
Love to kill, hate to be killed, to use an obvious example.
Yep. But now it's just going to be you...
Blank, dream your blank-like dreams.
Dog, dream your dog-like dreams.
Worm, dream your worm-like dreams.
Capitalist, dream your capitalist-like dreams.
Yeah, and so on.
You know
Don't think of what was the second half?
Liam. Stick with your Liam-like dreams.
I will.
Oh,
I'll become perfectly normal after winning the lottery.
that's a weird dream. Wait, hang on a minute.
Don't think of opposing an elephant. That was it.
Yeah, don't think of opposing an elephant as a weird. Yeah.
And we just end on him saying "damned dog" and immediately cut away, really abruptly.
Yeah.
Then the scene that Nick referred to like an hour ago at this point, of Reinhardt assigning the tasks to each of his admirals for the invasion happens. And basically, Ruenthal is doing the Iserlohn assault, backed up by some other guys. Mittermeier is leading the Phezzan corridor conquest. Bittenfeld has to... he was responsible for making sure the corridor stays open, and then a few other notable people are just basically in reserve.
Yeah.
Like Mecklinger and...
Yeah, they're not actually joining, they're just making sure everything's fine back home on Odin. I think that's what Mecklinger
That was Mecklinger was doing, but then there was some people... There were two people carrying things down, holding things down on Odin, two people just in general reserve for if shit goes sideways.
Yeah.
Reinhardt's leading a contingent, so, they're really not sparing any expense.
There's also a weird bit where Oberstein informs Reinhardt that 100 people died in training.
Oh, yeah!
So for some reason, they're doing a Starship Troopers and using live ammunition in their training.
But 4 million people took place and it was a simulated battle, so I think that's a pretty good margin of error, he says.
And Reinhardt's like,
yes. Sure, whatever.
I'm sure that won't come up later.
Yeah.
In every battle, oddly, 100 men died. Every single battle.
That's a rounding error.
It's a rounding error.
The National Defense Council in the Alliance has a meeting, and basically the thrust of this is Bukok's Yang Wen Li says they'll attack through the Phezzan corridor, and everyone else is that's unthinkable. You're an idiot, Bukok.
Yeah. And then...
They shout at him for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think 2 other admirals?
There's 2 other military people.
Yeah, 2 other military guys there, and they're both what fuck Bukok. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. Like, come on. But everyone ultimately is just, they dismiss Bukok and the concerns that Yang has rightly surmised to him.
And he's like, well, I tried.
And now we watch the world burn. So they dismiss that whole thing. None the wiser.
And then they get the news of that in Eyes Alone. He's like, I asked for more troops, but we have no more troops.
No more budget.
We don't have any more budget for reconnaissance satellites, so we're reliant on ship patrols. And we cut to the patrol ship Ulysses, where there's this weird sequence. Didn't understand it at all.
A captain we've never met?
Don't think so.
With crew members we've never met.
All of his bridge crew are like, hey, what's wrong with the captain? I heard that he's... What are the rumors that they throw out?
I think he didn't get with a lady. I think he didn't.
He lost in cards to Poplin or Shenkop. And then another one's like, no, he's in love with Julian Minchi, who's been sent to Phezzan, and he's really sad at that. And then we see the captain, and he does look a bit out of sorts on the bridge, like rubbing a bruise on his face.
Something like that.
No idea what that's about.
And then suddenly, out of nowhere...
It's the enemy fleet.
And they're all like, hey, it's the enemy fleet. And the captain's like, well, can we run away then? Like, for fuck's sake, what are we doing here?
And they do.
So then they run. And the enemy fleet's like, sir, there's a reconnaissance ship. What do we do? And they're like, well, we're gonna not go after them.
And it's Ruenthal, and he has a line that Nick fell in love with immediately.
Wait, which line was this?
So they, his like bridge crew says to him, shouldn't we muster our fighting spirit against the greater enemy? No. They ask if we should pursue that ship and destroy it. And he says, our enemy isn't one battleship, it's Yang Wenli and Isolone Fortress. Shouldn't we muster our fighting spirit against the greater enemy? Now, shall we play the first bar of the Requiem for the Free Planets Alliance?
So good. Literally.
I can't believe you forgot that.
Dude, any board games day, you show up.
And you're ready to play the Requiem?
You roll the dice, you get a 6, and you're like, are we ready to play the Requiem of your loss in Monopoly? Oh, the Liam Smith Empire, how quickly it falls beneath the might of Mayfair.
My waterworks and electric company.
Look, I own all 3 brown properties. There's nothing you can do about it now. You fool! You're going to have to pass go and lose a portion of that money immediately. Ha! Let us play the Requiem of your demise. It's like, just let us play the first bar of the Requiem of your demise. It's such a good,
It's so operatic.
Oh, it's so good.
And then there's, a quick scene of Yang responding to that, but that's the end of the episode, really.
Yeah. Good apps.
Good apps. Much better than last week's, I'll say it.
Oh, but that documentary episode was so good.
Highlights and lowlights.
I mean, we know my highlight.
Go on.
Let us play the first bar of the Requiem. It's like, oh, it's so good.
And of course, my highlight is dog. Dream your dog-like dreams.
So good.
Good episode for dialogue.
Oh, good quotes. Good quotes.
Lowlights.
I want to say my lowlight is the entire scene in, like, Parliament or whatever it was. Because we already...
Defense Council.
Yeah, because we already knew Bukok wasn't going to make a difference.
Yep.
And then we're like, yep, they're still not making a difference. Let's see as the other admirals also don't help make a difference. Okay, sure. Well, we knew this was going to happen, and it happened, and now we're here again. So that's happened.
Yep.
Okay, sure. I mean, it was nice to get a little bit of, like, an insight into the workings of it, but also we didn't really see anything of importance whatsoever.
No, it was just, like, kind of going through the motions that we knew what we would go through.
And
hit
then...
the beats that we expected.
Yeah, even then, it's just like, okay, did we need to see that at all? No. Okay.
Tricky for me.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's a good couple of eps.
Yeah. It's a good Requiem.
Look, I didn't really see the value in the scene between Hildegard and Reinhardt, where he's like, do you think that I'm prosecuting this war fairly? And she says, would you care if I said no? Like, we know that where they stand morally, and we know that there's sort of a moral axis between him and Oberstein on one side and Hildegard on the other. Like, I don't think we really needed another scene just to drill that in.
But we always need more scenes to drill that in. Yeah.
So, Nick.
Yes.
Operation Ragnarok is afoot.
The operation is named Ragnarok.
That's true, and everyone loves it.
Twilight of the Gods. The final battle of the gods.
What will happen in the next episode, which is entitled...
The Phezzan Dominion Crumbles. I mean, who knows?
The Sounding of Gjallarhorn.
Isn't Gjallarhorn...
That's a thing.
The,
like the horn that ends the world or some shit?
The one that Odin has?
It's an artifact in Norse mythology associated with the god Heimdall.
Heimdall. Isn't he a giant?
The sound of Heimdall's horn will herald the beginning of Ragnarok.
Right, okay. So, we're really leaning into this
Yeah.
Ragnarok theming. Okay.
I reckon it becomes literal all of a sudden.
Yeah, Ruenthal's just like, boys.
He brings back that axe barbarian via Valkyries.
Ooh. Ooh. I'd like that. Now all the spaceships just have big axes on them that just do this. Like swinging motion.
Yep, describe the motion.
It's like from vertical to horizontal swing.
Classic axe chop.
Exactly. Like when you had a kid as a toy, where you push the back
You
button.
had a kid as a toy, and you push the back
karate.
button.
Did you ever have a kid as a toy?
And you can make him do karate chops.
Yeah, and it does karate chops, but this
How's
time
idea?
with an axe in space with Valkyries.
On the grass.
Hiya! So I reckon we're gonna see the beginning
Yep.
of.
So they're going to attack Isolone Fortress.
Yep. And Yang will be like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yep. But I know they're going to attack from elsewhere, so like we all know we're just going through the motions here.
Yeah. He did sort of say that they were going to put 2 fleets behind somewhere,
And catch
catch them off guard.
like just hide them in the
Yeah.
vagaries of space.
Yeah, not really sure how that works, but hey, whatever.
Planets or stars or some shit, I guess.
So it'll probably be, alright, attack Isolone Fortress, we're not going to make a dent in it, but we've got a secret plan, which is just run away or just get past it.
Who are you saying is doing this?
The Imperials.
Well, no, because their whole plan is to attack Isolone to draw attention away.
Oh, yeah.
We know this plan, Nick.
Yeah, no, but they're going to draw it away from there so that they send it to Isolone, so that Phezzan, they just go right through the Phezzan corridor.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that's like a strategic decision of like, send the fleets up there, which is going to take forever. But right now, in Isolone Fortress, tactically
It's gonna
speaking,
take forever. It's all made up, Nick.
time moves in a linear fashion. So they'll like shoot a bit at Isolone Fortress, and then they'll just be like, right, retreat, and then all the
Just
fleets will
keep
go
the
up.
aggro up.
Exactly. They're going to be classic World of Warcraft style.
Yep.
Okay, keep aggro. The second we lose it, they're going to start attacking the DPS. We can't be having that, all right? You're the tank. You deal
He's
with it.
tanking the Free Planets Alliance.
Exactly. So he's just going to like go in, ping, and then come back. But then they won't actually do anything. Which Yang will be like, well, yeah, no shit. Of course he's not going to do anything. Which is why we're going to do something by destroying them. Because,
Boy, the whole fortress versus fortress thing turned into a big pile of nothing, didn't it?
well, I mean, it turned out Yang just wins every
Yeah.
time.
All right, well, let's find out how Operation Ragnarok goes down next time. But until then,
To be continued.